Hi, this is Tyler Hogan with Bright Ideas Press, and today I want to answer the question, what do I need to teach the mystery of history? So today we're going to be looking at Volume 1, and if you're not already familiar with how the book is laid out, let me just show you very briefly. Each week starts off with a pretest, and this is something that you can do very simply with your students. It doesn't have to be written down. You can do it verbally instead if that's easier, especially for younger students. And the purpose is just to give you a good feel for what your kids are going to be familiar with and what's going to be new to them. After the pretest, you start looking at your lessons for the week. Now in Volume 1, the lessons are fairly short. They're usually 2 to 4 pages long. They get a little bit longer in each successive volume. At the end of the lesson, you'll find a set of activities, and you'll find activities broken down by age group. So you'll have some for younger students, some for middle students, and some for older students. Each week has 3 lessons, and each of those 3 lessons have activity directions. Now, don't try to do all of them. That's more than any one family needs to do. If you do 1 activity a week, you're doing just fine. At the end of the 3 lessons, you will find a review. And this is what the reviews look like. They start off with what's called the Wall of Fame, which is your timeline assignment. Now, here's where you can be building your timeline and using timeline figures. And you can either make your own, and in fact, in the front matter of the book, there's a template. If you want to make your own, you can use that template, or you can purchase a set of timeline figures like this lovely set from Homeschool in the Woods by Amy Pack. Now with these, they're black and white images that your students can color, and they all have a title, a date, and a short paragraph of information about the event. And you can cut these up and put them on your timeline. Your kids can color them if they want to, and they're wonderful. After your timeline assignment, there's the Somewhere in Time, which is your map work. And you'll also notice that these are laid out just like the activities. You've got some that are for all students, some that are for younger students, or middle students, or older students. And to do these activities, you'll need to have a good historical and Bible atlas. Now you've got a couple of options here. The first is Wonder Maps. And if you have Wonder Maps, which is a digital atlas, this has everything that you're going to need. And in fact, all of the maps that you need are included in Wonder Maps, where you can just print them off to do the exercises right there. And you can also find answer keys. Your other option is a paper atlas. And for these, we recommend the Rand McNally Historical Atlas of the World and the Student Bible Atlas. Now, if you have both of these, you can do all of the geography assignments in Mystery of History Volume 1. You should also know that anytime it has a map assignment that requires an outline map, those are included in the back of the book. So here's Map 2, Greece. You can photocopy this page and use it as many times as you need to. There's also an answer key that has the things that you need to label filled in for you already. So those are really the only things that you would need to have in order to complete the Mystery of History, because after the timeline and map work is your quiz. Now, sometimes there's a quiz. Every other week there's like an activity worksheet or an exercise to do. And all of those have answer keys as well, which you'll find in the back of the book. So you'll find answer keys for the pretest and answer keys for all of your quizzes and exercises right in here. So that means that this book has your reader, has your student activity pages, and has your teacher's guide and answer key all in this book. The only other thing that you need is the atlases, and that's only if you're doing the geography assignments. Now, if you want to supplement what's in the book, there are lots of options. For starters, the book has a fantastic book and resource list right here in the back. So it goes lesson by lesson and gives you broken down by age level for younger, middle, and older students, books and videos and all kinds of great resources that'll help supplement what you learned about that week in the textbook. Beyond that, Bright Ideas also publishes some supplemental materials that you might find useful. For starters, we have what we call the challenge cards, which are a set of cards that you print out and cut up, and each card has a question from the lesson, and then on the flip side, you have the question and the answer. Now, each lesson in the Mystery of History will have probably about 3, sometimes 4 cards, and you can use these for games and review activities. You can even use this as a kind of tiny timeline. So instead of doing it up on the wall, you might be using these as little timeline note cards, because they're all tied to the lesson, so you can arrange them in chronological order. So that's the challenge cards. We also have, for your kinesthetic learners, a set of coloring pages. Now for Volume 1, you have a beautiful collage that has elements from all 3 lessons woven into one picture. It also comes with a little answer key that highlights those different elements and tells you which lesson they belong to, just in case you're confused. Now Volumes 2, 3, and 4, the coloring pages are a little bit different. They each have a row, so there's 3 rows, and they each have an image so that the lessons are split up rather than in a collage like this. The next supplement is a set of note-taking pages. Now, each lesson has a set of note-taking pages, and there's 4 pages per lesson. And they're all laid out very similarly, but the difference between the 4 pages is you've got a set for younger writers that have these kinds of lines for them to practice their writing. There's a set for older writers, which have these kinds of lines. There's a informational page where we'll sometimes give them a place to journal about different topics. Sometimes we'll ask them questions. There might be a chart for them to fill out or some other things to label. And then there's also a version that's pretty much blank. And you can use this either for an artistic student that wants to sketch something, or on your computer, this blank space is typable, so your student can type their notes up and then print them out. And then our next supplement is folder books. Now, each volume of the Mystery of History has 4 folder books, and these folder books include all of these lovely little figures that go with the various lessons, some of which are flaps, some of which are backgrounds, and then also a little answer key. So if you want your students to write their own information on these little mini books, they can do that, or you can print out the answer key and paste those in as well. Folder books are really great for kinesthetic and visual learners and gives them a good place to just keep all of the information that they've been learning. Now, all 4 of those supplements are right here on this super supplemental collection. These are sold separately. They're not in the book. So you'll find the challenge cards, the coloring pages, the notebooking pages, and the folder books all on the super supplemental collection. Now you can either get this on a CD or as a download from brightideaspress.com. There are 2 other supplements that I want to draw your attention to. The first is the companion guide. Now, the companion guide has all of the pages from the textbook that you would need to photocopy, especially if you have more than one student. So it's going to include pretty much everything except for the lesson text. All of your activity directions, your pretests, your reviews, your timeline assignments, your maps, your exercises are all going to be here on the companion guide. The only thing this doesn't have is the lesson text. Now for volumes 1 and 2, the companion guide is optional. It's just there to make your life easier so that you don't have to make photocopies of pages or write in the book. With volumes 3 and 4, the companion guide is the only place where you'll find that information because the student reader has the lesson text separately. The last supplement that I want to show you is the audiobook. This is read by the author, Linda LaCour-Hobart, and she has a wonderful audio recording voice. I highly recommend these if you have auditory learners. They're great for listening to at home or in the car, or if you ever find yourself running short of time, you can always pop this in, and they're just great to listen to. You can find these on our website. They're available on CD. You can also get them as MP3s from Linda Hobart's website. Now, these CDs only include the lesson text, so just the lessons that are in the book, none of the activities or other material that you would find in the companion guide. So that's the audio CD. So just to summarize, the only things that you need in order to teach the mystery of history are the textbook itself, and then the atlases if you're going to do the geography assignments. Everything else is optional. If you have any further questions, we'd be happy to chat with you. You can reach us either by phone at 877-492-8081 or by email, which is contact@brightIdeasPress.com. Thanks a lot and have a great day.